All right, Salakia, Shalom. Shalom, I'm back on this thing. Like I said, I want to start off by first and foremost giving all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son. Once again, this is Brother Yeshaya just coming at you with a quick little brief lesson on just who should we invite to the cookout. That's the title. Catered it specifically for our people. Shalom, Shalom. But catered specifically to our people. Just want to go over a couple things real briefly. It's not going to be a long lesson. I know I say that a lot, but the title of it, once again, like I said, who should we invite to the cookout? It's important to know that, in a world that we live in today, I think that everyone's moving toward the generalization of accept everybody, be friends with everybody, love everybody, what I'm saying? Be joyful with everybody. Just hit me up. What I'm saying? Just hit me up when you get a chance. Right. But we're going to go right into this lesson. Let's start with the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse number 1. Zephaniah 2. Salakia, I should have already had it pulled up. I went there, but I didn't close it trying to go elsewhere. But this is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse number 1. And it says, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired, right? So first and foremost, we got to understand that throughout all of Torah, the Ruach, you know what I'm saying, Rakah, however you pronounce it, we can see that we've been a nation that has not been desired, right? We didn't even desire ourselves. We didn't even desire the Most High who desired us because we didn't keep His laws, statutes, and commandments. So when you read this, gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired, that's letting us know that we need to come together as a people, right? Because it's nothing that anybody could do more for you than what you can do for yourself, right? And that's on a personal level and on a nation level. There is nobody, no other nation on this planet that can keep the laws for us in order for us to receive our salvation. That's not how it's going to work. The Lord told us that we need to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. So right here, it says, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. So this is important to know that, hey, look, this is Zephaniah right here telling us to gather together. That's the same thing that Jacob said in Genesis 49. Let's go there real quick. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49. And let me start at verse. Salakia. Genesis chapter 49. And dang, I don't went too far. Verse number 1, I'll say. Yeah, this is Genesis chapter 49 and we're going to start at number 1, but it's verse number 2. Genesis 49 and 1, and it says, and Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. So this right here, once again, is Jacob even telling his sons, hey, look, gather together because I need to tell you what's going to happen to you in the last days, right? These are prophecies in Genesis 49 that Jacob told what was going to be over his children and even his grandchildren, right? So this is important to know that when it comes to knowing who to invite to the cookout, we gotta know the importance of who is at the cookout in the first place, right? Who is the cookout for? What is the cookout for? And who needs to be present for this cookout, right? What's good, Aki? Shalom, Big Mook on the scene. But to continue on, we need to know the importance of inviting people. You know what I'm saying? We got to be careful about who you invite. All right, let's go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse number 9. This is Deuteronomy chapter 4. And let me get verse number 9. And it says right here, only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thine heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons. We're going to stop at verse 9 right there. This is important to know. This says only take heed to yourself. As a nation, we only need to take heed to ourselves, right? So like I said, the reason I titled the lesson, who should we invite to the cookout, is because we live in a society today where everybody wants you to be friends with everybody. You have to accept everybody. You got to respect everybody. You got to love everybody. And if you don't, you can lose your life and your job for it. That's the type of society we live in today. But we need to know the importance of why Israel was such a great nation in the first place. We need to know the importance why the Lord was only dealing with the children of Israel from the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to say from the beginning of time, but soon as the beginning of the lineage of Noah, and then going to Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Once Jacob and Esau was born and the children of Israel came about by way of Jacob, the Lord said, look, I'm going to make this nation a great nation, because he gave this covenant to Jacob. He gave this covenant to Isaac. He gave this covenant to Abraham. He told him these things. He bare witness 3 times telling them, I'm going to make this covenant with you, right? Shalom, my good brother. Talk to him. Khan, Shalom. Hey, much love to you, brother. Much love to all the brothers on here. But making this to continue on, when it comes to knowing who to invite to the cookout, we got to understand that we got to look out for our people first. You know what I'm saying? Why do I want to invite people over to eat at my house if I know that some of my people ain't even got no food to eat down the road? You know what I'm saying? Like, as a nation, we get it confused sometimes. Like, we look at the things that goes on in this world and we say, hey, you know what? Look, I'm gonna invite this brother to the cookout because he this, that, and the third, right? And 9 times out of 10, our people tell that to people of other nations when people of other nations get along with them, right? Like, people of other nations might say, matter of fact, better example, two Caucasian women, they was at a wedding reception, I'm not sure specifically, but they was rapping Little Baby lyrics and had Bud Light in their hand. And one girl, she was saying the lyrics word for word, right? And then all down my timeline, all you see is Jake and Eve just saying, oh, they lit. Oh, yeah, they can come to the cookout. Oh, yeah, they invited to the cookout for sure. Like, that's madness. Because what have they done outside of, quote, some song lyrics to be able to eat at your house, to be able to eat at your table, right? Hey, look, we got to understand that the Lord is a separatist when it comes to nation. He's divided the nations, according to Deuteronomy 32:8 and Sirach 17:17. The Lord divided the nations, and he made Israel the sacred nation of all the nations, because he was the king over us, and he is still the king over us till this day, right? But for some reason, we feel like that the Lord, he's the king over everybody, which we know he's the creator of all things and all men. We understand that. But when it comes to the nation scale, we think that everybody could be a part of the covenant that the Lord established with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? And so that way, now in today's time, since we think like that and we feel like that, now we're accepting everybody's ways. Now we're accepting everybody's traditions. And now somebody can do the bare minimum for you and your people, and they can get a spot at your table, right? This is a good example right here. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse number 19, right? Matter of fact, we're going to stay in the same chapter, Deuteronomy 4, and we're going to go to verse number 12, right? So Deuteronomy chapter 4, and we're going to go to verse number 12. We're going to stay in the same chapter. And it says right here, and the Lord spake unto you out of the midst of the fire. Ye heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude. Only ye heard a voice. And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments, and he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone. And the Lord commanded, Salakia, and the Lord commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go over to possess it. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves. So this is Moses speaking right here to the children of Israel, saying that the Lord, the Lord spoke to him. The Lord showed him signs, visions, and wonders. The Lord spake to him through the fire, and they saw no similitude, right? So the Lord right here was only dealing with the children of Israel, right? And then he says right here, he said in verse 13, he said, and he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments, and he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone. And then if you jump down to verse 15, it says, Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude on the day that the Lord spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire. Verse 16 is important, right? Deuteronomy 4:16. Lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female. So this is what the Lord is saying right here. Take heed unto yourselves, unless you start following after these other nations, You start taking after their customs, and all of a sudden you forget the things that I showed you that I've done for you. Thus, how I brought you out of the land of Egypt, right? This is the same thing the Lord is saying in Deuteronomy 16 and 19, right? Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter and the 19th verse. And it says right here, thou shalt not wrest judgment, thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift. For a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous. So we were taking gifts from these other nations, and now our eyes are blinded. You know what I'm saying? Our eyes are perverted. We can't hear no more. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, we can't even speak righteous things because there is no righteousness found within us. Because why? We're receiving gifts from these other nations. We think a gift from an enemy is to be able to quote some little baby lyrics, and all of a sudden now they're friends with us. Oh, they drinking Bud Light and they singing Little Baby? Yeah, they lit. They can come to my cookout. We don't even invite our own people to the cookout. We accept people. We accept people from other nations, and we accept people coming to this cookout, right? That we're having this feast that we're having, the feast that the Lord designed for us. And now all of a sudden we're saying that because somebody can do the little thing, the slightest bit of thing for us, now they can partake of this table. And we're saying that even our own people, they can't come. Our own people are sacred, are set apart from the cookout that your own people is having because you believe a certain way, or you claim a certain color, or you got beef from a certain neighborhood or stuff like that. We kill our own people. We kill our own people and we promote it in music, right? What does Ecclesiastes 7 and 5 say? Better is it listen to rebuke than listen to the song of fools. It's like it, not fuels, but fools, right? But we take our own people out. We promote this violence on our people. We can't invite our people to the cookout because, oh, they from 33rd Street. You know what I'm saying? I got beef with them. They can't come over here. I'm going to kill them. But we can invite little Johnny down the street, you know what I'm saying, and his parents. They can come to the cookout. And what did they do for you? All they did for you was just buy you a 4 for 4. Oh, you bought me a 4 for 4? You can come to the cookout. But my brother down the street, he going through the same thing I'm going through in life, in this captivity by, you know what I'm saying, your foremothers and forefathers who set it up, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, he can't come because he's still on the wrong side of the street. What's going on? But this is why it's important to know that, hey, look, the Lord is dealing with a nation type of scale, right? Let me go back to Deuteronomy 4. Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, once again. And let me read verse 9. Let me read verse 10 again, right? So this is Deuteronomy 4, and we're going to read 9 and 10 again. And then I'm going to jump to 12. Then I'm going to jump to a different account. So Deuteronomy 4 and 9. Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thine heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons, especially the day that thou stoodest before the Lord thy God in Horeb, and when the Lord said unto me, gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach their children. So once again, we're seeing that the Lord, hey, look, he spoke to the children of Israel, told them to gather so that way you can learn these ways and that you may teach them to your children, even your children's children, right? Let me go to the book of Ezra chapter 4. And some people say, well, hey, look, these people, they want to partake of what we got going on. You know what I'm saying? They want to serve our God. They want to do what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? So let me show you an account of when somebody even tried to do that, right? And we're going to go to the book of Ezra, and we're going to start at chapter 4. And we're going to read Ezra chapter 4, and we're going to start at verse number 1, right? And it says, now when the adversaries, remember that word, now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord God of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you. So this is the enemies of Judah and Benjamin asking, hey, look, let us build the temple of your God with you. Let us do that with you. We want to, right? Hey, look, it is easy right then and there. Some people will stop right then and there and say, you know what? They said they wanted to build our temple with us. We're going to let them do it because they asked. They want to build our temple with us, right? But let's keep going. Let's see what Zerubbabel said. Right? For we seek your God as ye do. This is the enemy saying, hey, look, we seek your God as we do. Right? And we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us, right? To build an house unto our God. But we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, had commanded us. So this is right here, Zerubbabel and Joshua answering the question to the heathens, saying, look, you ain't got nothing to do with us. You have nothing to do with us. We will build a temple to our God, right? You have nothing at all to, Khan, ye have nothing to do with us. Just because you want to, just because you sacrifice, just because you believe in our God, hey, look, you don't got nothing to do with us. We will build a temple to our God ourselves. And many people right now, nowadays will say, oh, that is so wrong. They want to help you and you don't want to accept their help. Well, let's keep reading, because look, let me precept this real quick, right? Remember, let's read Ezra 4:3 again, right? But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, hath commanded us, right? So they answered the heathens and said, look, you ain't got nothing to do with us. We'll do it ourselves. And in today's time, we're not moving like that as a nation. In today's time, now people are asking to partake in what we got going on, right? We can't even put ourselves back together, but yet we can look at all these other nations and say, oh, yeah, well, you know what? We can't fix ourselves, but we can fix you. We can't gather together ourselves, but we can gather together with you. Oh, we can't invite our people to the cookout because we're killing them, but we can invite you to the cookout, and we promise we won't kill you. You'll send the police at us, and we won't kill you. Your police can kill one of our people right now in front of our faces, and all we're going to do is protest. And another one of your police officers is going to come give us a hug, and all we're going to do is hug him, and we're going to cry. He's going to say, I'm sorry, and we're going to say it's okay, you all are forgiven, and then we're going to move on with life. That's what they did with George Floyd. George Floyd, his knee, the police officer, Derek Chauvin, his knee was on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes. All they did was protest. I kid you not. All they did was protest. And even at some of these protests, you had these officers, right? You had these officers hugging our people and crying, sharing tears together, right? And our people are forgiving them for that. A brother just lost his life. And you think that a hug is going to suffice for that? Oh, but they are still invited to the cookout because he gave us a hug. He was out there moving on our behalf. Salakia, my bad. You know, I need to understand that in today's time, thus saith the Bible, is not going to agree with how the world feels, right? Because obviously we've gotten far along a way to say that, oh, we can invite these people over. We can be friends with these people. We can make covenants with the heathen like we did in Maccabees, 1 Maccabees 11. But yet, when it comes to our people, we can't even have the sympathy or the empathy enough to not even kill ourselves, not even to defile ourselves. We listen to this evil, wicked music, right, that promotes sex, money, drugs on our people. You know what I'm saying? And we know that it didn't start in this generation, but this generation took it and ran with it like they damn got a ball and they trying to run for a touchdown, right? But let me precept Ezra 4:3 real quick, right? Remember that, because he said, look, you ain't got no, even though you sacrifice to our God, the heathen told them that, look, we believe in your God. We sacrifice to your God, right? So let us help you build this temple unto your God. And so Zerubbabel and the chief of the fathers of the children of Israel was like, nah, you ain't got nothing to do with us. Let me show you why this is important. What's going to happen after this is a quick precept to this, right? This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 12 and verse number 10. And it reads, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Verse number 11, though he humble himself and go crouching. So the enemies right there, they humbled themselves and they went crouching, right? Though he humble himself and go crouching, Yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt not know what his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Right? So this is the Lord, right? Once again, reassuring us hey, look, we cannot trust our enemies. It doesn't matter if our enemy acts like a dog, puts their ears down and tucks their tail behind their legs and come to us wagging it and trying to lick. It doesn't matter if our enemies does that. Why? Because as iron rusted, so does the enemy's wickedness. Even though they're going to humble themselves, let's go down to verse number 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. The enemy will humble himself to exalt himself at the end of the day. I did a lesson on this back in August when me and the brothers was doing a 30 videos for 30 days series, 30 for 30, right? And I said, never trust thine enemy, right? Because our enemies are wicked. At the end of the day, they only care about themselves. You know what I'm saying? They came to Zerubbabel and the chief of the fathers of the children of Israel and said, look, we believe in the God of Israel. We sacrifice to him. We want to help you build your temple. But these brothers said no. They said no, we can build our temple ourselves. You have nothing to do with us. And a lot of people today will look at that like that's going off. Man, they asked you to help and you said no. But what's wrong with you? Society today would tell them people that, hey, look, those people are of the devil. But these are men of the Lord right here who told them you ain't got nothing to do with us, right? Remember that, because they asked to help build the temple and they said no. Well, let's go back to Ezra 4 and watch what the damn heathen does, right? So Ezra 4, and we're going to go back to verse number 4, right? Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in the building and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia. So once again, this is a prime example that the heathen was frustrated that we didn't let him help build our temple to our God. So now they went and they had counselors to aspire against us, and they made it harder for us to build our temple from King Cyrus all the way to King Darius. So the heathen said, you know what? Bet. I'm going to make it harder for you then, since you don't want to help us. That's wicked. But nowadays, our people would accept the bare minimum that the heathen would do and say, look, you can have a seat at my table. You can be a dog, but you know what? The dogs got to eat too. And that's what the women said in Matthew chapter 15 to Christ. Let's go right there. This is the book of Matthew chapter 15. And this is the book of Matthew chapter 15. And let me start at verse number 26. Let me start at 25, right? Then came she and worshiped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs, right? It is not meet to take the children's bread and give it to the dogs. I'm the bread of life. That's what Christ said. Why should I take me and give it to you, right? Just like Juneteenth, like Juneteenth is a national holiday now for our people, but it serves of no importance in true history to our people who truly understand history, slavery, the economy, and what the Emancipation Proclamation really did. And the true meaning would happen on June 19th, 1865. Our people don't even know the true history behind that. They'll be like, oh, well, that's when all the slaves were truly finally let free. Yeah, okay. You continue to think that. And I might just go do a lesson on that too, just going into the history. But like I said, our people just love inviting other nations to the cookout, but don't want to invite us. Let me go to the book of Isaiah chapter 1 real quick, right? But Ezra 4, that's good. That's a good way to show how even our people back then had a zeal for each other, saying, look, you don't even got to help us. They're building a whole temple. Extra hands can help. But all of a sudden, they look, nah, we can do it on our own. Voting rights too, People think the Voting Rights Act of 1965 is, oh my gosh, boy. I mean, we can go into a lot of history that our people really think that they know and think that benefited us, but it doesn't. That's just like a gift destroying our heart. That's Ecclesiastes 7:7 all over again. Juneteenth, the Voting Rights Act, gay pride, all these wicked holidays and wicked rights and wicked amendments that they're passing for our people is doing nothing but, just like Deuteronomy 16:19 said, just like Ecclesiastes 7:7 said, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and the gift destroyeth the heart. In 1865 and 1965, that's 100-year difference. We were still getting our ass whooped the same way. Salakia, excuse me for my language, but we were still getting beat the same way, right? But 100 years later, only difference is now that they did it from a less physical scale, because this is at the time TV is coming out, so you're starting to have media coverage across the nation, right? So now that they started toning it down on a media scale, right? So now the oppression today is, what people like to say is, oh, we're not oppressed today because we're not getting lynched, we're not getting hung, we're not getting the same type of treatment our foremothers and forefathers was back then. Well, you're kind of right. We're not physically. No white man is walking up to me right now and finna put a noose around my neck, and I'm just finna sit there and go for it. Because back in the day, if they tried that, it's going to be like 30 other white men that's going to come and kill you and then hang you in front of your family, right? And your family wasn't going to do nothing about it, right? Abortions, they shifted how they oppressed our people. People think that, oh, just because we're not getting that type of treatment nowadays is a form of that we're no longer in captivity or no longer in slavery. You know how many people I talked to that tried to tell us that we wasn't the true children of Israel, and tried to say, well, if those curses apply, how are you oppressed today? Are you serious? Do you not look at what they're doing to our people, how they're pimping our people out more nowadays than they were even back then? They got our women shaking their naked behinds on TV, and our people promoting it. Abortions, abortions. They're trying to fight for women's rights to get abortions. I do not support abortions. You know, people make all these different type of excuses. I'm gonna hold my tongue when I say certain things about this topic because it's sensitive. But what I am gonna say is that people look for the easiest excuse to say this is why abortion should happen. They look for the bare minimum excuse, right? De-emasculization, right? They've been doing that with breaking the buck. They've been doing that since back in the day. They're trying to make our men homosexual. They're trying to make our women the rulers of the household. Like 1 Corinthians 11 doesn't say otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Like Eve wasn't made for Adam to be a helpmeet unto him. They try to do all this stuff. And these are the same people that we're inviting to the cookout, right? But let me go to Isaiah chapter 1. And it says, the vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. And it said, here, Salakia, I'm not even going to read that. Let me start at verse number 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are going away backward, right? Why should ye be stricken any more? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart faint. So our nation is a sinful nation, a nation of evildoers. But yet we feel like accepting another nation to inviting them to our cookout, our table, is righteousness. And we feel like that's a good thing that I just did. Oh, the Lord's going to reward me for inviting him. But our people still promote the same death and violence on our own people and think that it's okay to invite other people over to our house. No, I don't think there's nobody on here who would invite guests in their dirty house. But as a nation, for some reason, our house is dirty and we want to invite other people over. We got roaches, we got spiders, we got all types of sickness and disease in our house. We got people dead, laying down on the sofa, laying down on the ground. We got people killing each other right as company comes in the door. And guess what we still doing? Oh, ignore that. That has nothing to do with you. This is our thing, but you're still able to come in. We don't know how to get our own house in order before we want to invite other people over. So you shouldn't be inviting other people to the cookout, right? This is why. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Genesis chapter 17. Matter of fact, let's go to Genesis 17. Let's go to Genesis 17, right? Right. So this is Genesis 17. Give you quick 2 reasons why. Then I'm going to hop off this thing. Right? So this is the book of Genesis. Dang, I can't even get it. Salakia. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 17, starting at verse number 7. And it says, and I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in the generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. So this is the Lord speaking to Abraham, telling us he's making a covenant with us and his seed after him. Right? He told the same thing to Isaac in Genesis 22, told the same thing to Jacob in Genesis 28. I mean, the Lord established his covenant with the children of Israel through Abraham and Isaac. So now we're trying to give people the partaking of this covenant, this table seat that we're trying to eat at. But we don't even have our own nation in correct manners, but yet we want to still invite people over to our house. We need to learn how to get our house in order as a nation of people. We don't move on a personal level. You can't just say, oh, well, I'm doing good in life just because I make $400,000 a year and you make less than $1,000 every 3 months. Doesn't mean that we're in oppression. I got a Bentley. I got a Jaguar. I got all the 5 cars. You know what I'm saying? But yet all of a sudden my brother down the street, he ain't got nothing to his name. And you telling me that is common. To see somebody of our people in poverty is common, but we're not oppressed, right? But we want to continue to invite everybody over, right? We can't even make our own food right. Our people still want to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. We can't even cook our food with the right ingredients. Thus saith the Lord in Leviticus 11. But yet we want to have everybody over to our house, and we want to say, oh, it's good. Hey, look, they go run right to Paul and say, look, Paul said, look, everything offered to God is, good. Like when Hezekiah, the king, invited the enemy to see the palace and got ransacked. Man, that's where I should have went, right? A man will never be above his nation. A man will never be above his nation. And us as a people, we will never be above each other. We have to gather ourselves together on a big scale, right? We have to gather ourselves together in a mass scale. Now, we know brothers and sisters is doing their part, but this is for the people who maybe not doing their part. This is for the people who still want to celebrate Christmas, who still want to celebrate Valentine's Day, who still want to celebrate Thanksgiving, who still want to celebrate 4th of July and Juneteenth, right? They still want to celebrate all the pagan holidays. They want to have fun with the pagan people, with the enemy, with our oppressors, but they have no love for their own people. You know what I'm saying? You have no love for your people. You giving respect unto the person that you think that has an opportunity to put you in a better position in life. Stockholm syndrome, You know what I'm saying? They got that Stockholm syndrome. It's just like you got a Stockholm syndrome because you feel bad for what the Most High said he was going to do. If you score 30 and we lose, it profits nothing. That's just like when the brother Yahweh All from Sons of Thunder said, like, look, I don't care if you had 4 touchdowns, 200 yards. We lost the game. They'll trade you. They'll get rid of you. And that's a problem. Our nation is a crab in a bucket type of nation. Instead of trying to help each other like ants do and make bonds with each other and build each other up and get out, we try to, I'm going to get mine. No, I'm going to get mine. And that's why we are a nation as we are today, right? That's the first precept I read, King Khan, Zephaniah 2:1, right? And I'm going to read it again to end on it, right? Zephaniah, the 2nd chapter and the 1st verse. Matter of fact, before I read that, let me read Proverbs 11 real quick. Let me read Proverbs 11 one more time. I didn't even read it the first time, so let me read Proverbs 11. Because we got to understand some things, man. The Lord, hey, look, you can invite all the people you want to over to your crib. But as for me and my house, hey, look, we trying to serve the Lord. So we trying to make sure that our people get up first, right? Fat Joe bought a $4 million watch, could have changed 4 homeless people's lives. 4 homeless people's lives? How about 400 homeless people's lives? If you want to be honest, J.R. Like I said it in a video before, J.R. Smith is a former NBA player. He said, look, man, why do we got to go to UCLA, USC to hoop? Why we got to go to Exos to hoop? Why can't we build basketball courts, football facilities and stuff like that in our neighborhood for our people? Why we got to go to the other people? Well, that was a curse. We got to serve our enemy in hunger and thirst and nakedness and want and all things. And that's a prophecy, because even today we still do that. And look, our people have money that are able to at least do the little things when it comes to money. You know what I'm saying? Because money is a defense. But our people have the money to do the little things for our people, and we still don't. We want to buy $1 million houses, $1 million cars. And there's nothing wrong with doing that if you can afford it. If you work for your money, you spend it how you want. But if you call yourself a true nationalist, if you're truly looking out for your people, think about what you can do with $25 million. You want to spend $25 million on a home, a private jet ski resort. Think about what you can do for your people. Hell, even in your own community, right? You don't got to go to every black person in America, every Hispanic person in America, every Native American person in America and say, yeah, I want to give you the world. No, it doesn't operate like that. But if we could put our minds together and we gather ourselves together, like it says do in Zephaniah 2:1, man, this nation would be, as we should be, the greatest nation on the face of the earth, which we still are, right? But we got to know that, right? Proverbs 11:21 real quick. And it says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. So look, if you want to be wicked and you want to join the heathen, you want to go ahead. If you want to be righteous, hey, look, you trust me, to be righteous, to be holy is to be set apart, right? So if you set apart, you'll be delivered. But to our brothers and sisters who want to make covenants with the heathen, join with the heathen, hey, look, I pray for repentance, and I honestly hope that, you know what I'm saying, you see the bigger picture, right? Your alms should match your income ratio and not just your tax write-offs. Con. Hey, look, if you make $1 million a month, you telling me you can't even sacrifice $250K for your people? You know what I'm saying? Say you make $1 million after taxes. Say you make $1 million a year after taxes. You bring it home $1 million a year after taxes. Telling me you can't 250K of that can't go to your own people? You telling me that we got all this money in our communities from sports, from entertainment, even these so-called rappers that our people promote and love, but you telling me that we can't spend all that money that they make together to make a couple of homes, make a couple people's lives better of our people. We got to promote violence on our people. We got to pull out guns and stuff and flash it at our people. But we can let an officer kill one of our people in front of our face. All we gonna do is record and yell, "Black lives matter, Black lives matter, Black lives matter." The government has truly showed us and has truly tricked us into believing in a system that it was designed for us to fail from the beginning. And you can't stop the Most High's plans. My job is not to reverse the things that the Most High has prophesied. My job is not to reverse the things that have already happened. My job is to wake the people up that was prophesied in the book that will wake up in the last days, right? A lot of them don't have that much. They get them from the fake Jews that track their money. And look, even with the little bit that people got, it can still make a difference, right? But if you want to know who should you invite to the cookout, you should try to start shifting your mindset to invite your people to the cookout. Let's change our minds about each other, right? Let's do what we can do for each other in righteousness, right? Let's stop trying to go to the heathen all the time. We know that was a prophecy. We know that was a curse. So it ain't nothing we can truly ever do to just at all stop dealing with the heathen. No, we're going to have to. And you got to learn how to deal justly with them. And you're going to have to learn how that, hey, look, we got to render Caesar what is his. I don't want y'all to be stupid and say, oh, well, Brother Yeshaya said, take our money and give it to our people, so I'm going to stop paying my taxes. No, brother is not saying that. Brother is saying, look, you got to give Caesar what is his. You got to give the government what's theirs. That's simple. But don't let giving the government what's theirs make you discouraged from saying, well, I already paid my taxes. I already did my part. What profit is it to tell the heathen we the chosen people? They know. Our people don't. Con. Right? But with that, man, look, I'm going to sign off this thing. Just know that who should we invite to the cookout is our people. It's not the so-called white man. It's not the so-called Asian man. It's not the so-called European man. It's our people that we need to invite. You know what I'm saying? Because our people are the ones who need it the most. Our people need a gathering. Our people need family. Our people need love. We need to love each other. Only people in this country that don't, right? The children of Israel. But like I said, I'm going to sign off this thing, man. Brother Yeshaya, who should we invite to the cookout? Invite your people to the cookout, man. But hey, peace, love, light, like the brother Yaki Awaken say, man. But want to give all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High God through the name of his only begotten son. Hey, yeah, not the white girl that raps Little Baby, Con. I said that earlier too. But look, love y'all. Hey, shalom. Pass it to the next mighty speaker.